Hello and welcome to Shamullahcast. We understand you have a choice of listening to 750,000 other podcasts out there. We thank you for listening to us. We cover media and entertainment and just anything else that we want to talk about. My name is Fairburn and I'm joined by Josh and our research man Frank. Today we're talking about the Simpsons movie, which released in 2007 and was directed by the show's supervising director Dan Silverman. So we'll just get straight into it. Josh, how do you feel about the Simpsons movie?
Right, okay, so the Simpsons movie was my first real exposure to the Simpsons because I was sadly one of those cool kids that thought the Simpsons was too childish for him growing up, and I really enjoyed Family Guy. Which is a bit unfortunate, really, but watching the Simpsons, I liked it as a kid, obviously, but as an adult, I appreciate it even more. Like, the jokes hit a lot better. I feel like it is the best semi-adult animated comedy, I believe, anyway. Like The Simpsons as a whole, not just the movie. I feel like the Simpsons movie captures everything the Simpsons show does, because I've been catching up with that as of late, because you've been getting me into it. I'm not super exposed to the Simpsons universe. You're a resident Simpsons addict, I should say, really. But I really enjoyed it, though. I thought it was really good. I thought the animation was great. I thought the cast was great. I thought everyone was great. Pretty much everybody had a substantial arc in it. Not really Lisa, but everybody else did anyway. What did you like about it? Because my opinions are more about it as a movie. You are so into The Simpsons that maybe you saw things that I didn't.
As you said, pretty much, I do love The Simpsons pretty much since forever, really. I think The Simpsons movie is probably one of the highest points of the entire show. Like you said, the animation is great, it's crisp, it looks great.
Well, I'd say it's only catching up now, animation-wise, in the show, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and
the quality of it.
It really goes to say something when it's a 2D animated film, and you just don't see them anymore now these days, and it's great that we still have that to look back on, especially for like an animated film based off a prior TV show.
I'm surprised it took so long to be made, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. Well, originally, there were plans to do a Simpsons movie since season 4. The episode Camp Krusty, I think, was going to be like their first idea.
So what's that, like 92, 93, give or take?
That was like season 4, so like...
Took them another 14 years after that, basically. Right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And... yeah, I think the voice performances by the cast are probably some of the best that they've ever done. Especially with Julie Kavanagh as Marge, I think that's probably. I love Marge in this. Actually, yeah. You know what? I think she's the linchpin for the story emotionally, and the voice acting is perfect as well. Definitely.
But you know what? I'm glad they actually waited, because maybe, and I don't know if this is fact, obviously, they were trying to get the story perfect. Because I'm pretty sure they went like 160 drafts of the script, which is a ridiculous amount of drafts, to be honest with you. I suppose over 14 years it's going to take a while.
Yeah. They kept it top secret. Like I said, there was so many drafts and stuff. Like I said, they wanted to perfect it. And with a show like The Simpsons, they've done the South Park. Simpsons did it. Like, you've got to have something that's going to make a great story for something that... It's
going to leave an impression. If it's going to be the movie, you want it to leave an impression.
Yeah, you've got to have no holds barred or anything. You've got to just go for it. And... the story, right, I found, when I was a kid, the environmental stuff, I was quite confused, because I thought that's not really, like, tied to The Simpsons as a show. There's a few episodes where, like, environmentalism is the message. Obviously, Lisa, is the...
It's quite topical, though, isn't it?
It is topical.
For the time and now.
Yeah, and that suits The Simpsons, because they've always been a topical show.
And it's also education, isn't it, for young children, It's still a big problem now, so it makes sense, really. It does make sense.
And I love the message as well, that it comes down to it. It's like, they're obviously... The whole core point of The Simpsons is that they're a family, they're a dysfunctional family, and it's all about their relationships. Homer's arc is relationship to everyone, the whole town is family... Marge especially, Bart's story.
That's something actually I was thinking of watching it, right? Because again, I'm not super exposed to The Simpsons, but the movie, I love the movie, I've watched some of The Simpsons, but watching the movie, it feels like I know these people. I have not been that exposed, like I said, but watching the movie feels like I've known these characters forever. I know who everyone is, I understand their traits, they're all designed really well, and I understand what their motivations are.
Yeah. I love that they feel like real people. You know,
I'd say so.
they're not just, you know, you've got so much time to know these people, these characters now, and you know, like what are they in, like the 19th season, I think, when this is running, like 19 years, like they still feel fresh, like it still feels like fresh stories, even though we've seen elements tackled before in the show. Yeah,
like some shows that make a movie, or animated or live action, doesn't really matter, they tend to change the characters up in a movie and they don't feel like themselves because they're trying to market to everyone, and then by that, no, they don't actually succeed. But this movie feels like it works in every way, I think, to be honest with you. There's nothing I really dislike about this movie, and I'm being completely honest with you there.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it falls short on anything. The pacing is amazing as well. I thought that was great. I thought that was perfect. There wasn't one point where I thought, oh, I looked down on my phone here. I was watching it and I thought, I've watched this for like 18 times. I'm still enjoying myself.
I agree. I think it does a good job of keeping you entertained while also being a good send-up to the show, but also bringing in people that weren't familiar with it before, like you, for example.
And I really enjoyed it. And I feel like, you know, The Simpsons may have lost a bit of steam as of late. I think most people would agree. But, you know, maybe they could have closed the show out with this movie, and I think a lot of people would have been happy.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? With the ending, especially, with Marge and Homer riding off into the sunset together, in love, as they're meant to be. That was perfect. That was loving. Because they're a family, and they're in love, and that's perfect. And they touch upon that a lot, don't they, in this movie? Like, their relationship, like you said, like Marge and Homer. Yeah, they're dysfunctional, but they love each other. Yeah, Homer's an imbecile, but she loves him, though, and he loves her. He just makes a few mistakes along the way.
Yeah, I love that. I really appreciate that they, you know, he's always been selfish. He's always been like, he's always been an idiot, you know.
But he never feels mean-hearted, though.
Yeah, he's not malicious, and I really like the fact that they made him the antagonist in just as much of a way, because he's the one that kicks it all off, and he's the one that makes the problems and stuff. But it's not intentional. He's just because he's stupid.
Yeah, he's stubborn and a bit dumb.
Yeah,
which is fine. But then he's not mean-hearted. Like I said, it's not like Family Guy, for example, where Peter is just viciously horrible, and at the end they turn around and he goes, and then they play the sad Family Guy song, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to learn from my lesson. Next episode, character reset, please. Like Homer, to be fair, I wouldn't say he develops, obviously it's a floating timeline, but at least it feels like Homer is stupid, so he can have that little bit of a reset. Do you know what I mean? But he still has a good heart in there.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think with earlier episodes and stories, Homer, I think, is the driving point, and he gets his comeuppance at the end, and that's for the sake of the story, not for the sake of the jokes. And I think that's where some of like Family Guy and even later Simpsons fall short. You know, there's jokes that get edgier and darker and playing Homer being a bad person and a bad parent and a bad friend and stuff. And, you know, for like something like Homer's Phobia or Lisa on Ice, where, you know, Lisa on Ice, he's pitting Homer and Bart and Lisa against each other for the sake of ice hockey and stuff, to be who's better at sports. That's for the story, because he learns in the end and he accepts that he shouldn't do that, and Lisa and Bart are put at odds, and they realise they love each other and stuff. And, you know, later on, something like Codependence Day, him and Marge drive drunk, he frames her, she gets a DUI. He doesn't really learn a lesson, they're angry, and then they kind of, like you said, reset at the end.
Kind of give them a bit of a pass, because, what is it on, like season 33?
Yeah.
I feel like they are scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point.
You're going to want to change it up.
When this movie came out, they were already, like you said, at 18 seasons. You'd think they would have been scraping the barrel at that point, but they were still going more or less pretty damn strong, to be fair. Maybe there was a bit of a fall of quality in the series itself, but because obviously this, I don't think the movie did, because it was in development for so long. They knew they had it. They were like, this is it. This is our magnum opus.
Yeah.
Also, something small I was thinking of earlier, actually, was the fact that the game came out at the same time as this, didn't it? But it wasn't based on the movie?
No.
Which I find quite strange. Why? The game itself is great, but why not do that? I don't understand.
I think it would have been cool to have a Simpsons movie game, but what I appreciate is that The Simpsons tackles everything in the show about sitcoms and movies, and, you know, even the movie, it takes jabs at like different films and its film references. I like that they went all in, but with video games.
Oh,
you travel to different worlds, and, you know, they just go, fuck it, let's just make fun of everything.
It's a commentary on the subject they're currently in.
Yeah.
So obviously it's commentary on video games because they're in a video game, and the same for the movie is the movie. Like they're like, okay, we're gonna make it big. We're gonna make it over the top. The town is gonna be put on the dome. We're gonna blow it up.
Yeah,
that's perfect. That's kind of good actually. I think that's cool. Not gonna lie, a lot of the background characters really made me laugh in this. A lot of the secondary characters make up the bulk of the humour for me in this. Like Grandpa buckled me. Senile old bastard, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Let me think about anything else that just made me laugh in this. What about who's the hillbilly guy?
Cletus.
Oh, that guy buckled me. What about you, Fairbairn? Like, you know these characters. Do you feel like they're faithful to the show?
Yeah, 100%. I would definitely say so. I think I like that. Maybe not all, but at least most of the characters that you recognise and people enjoy get at least a spotlight and a few good jokes. I love the attention to detail in the background, like you said. Like
Springfield feels alive, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that plays well with the dome coming into aspect because it really shows how these people work.
Yeah, and even after our main characters, the Simpsons, obviously leave Springfield, you still cut back to see how Springfield's doing, because Springfield is as much of the Simpsons' identity as the Simpsons themselves, and all the side characters are too. And you want to see what they are up to. You want to see what's going on there. You want to see their motivations and what's happening to them, and they do that perfectly. What do you think about the villains in this movie, or the villain, I should say, Russ Cargill?
He's funny. He's really good.
I like his deadpan delivery.
Yeah,
his dryness. Yeah. It really makes me laugh.
Al Jean. Well, he's been a regular on the show for years. Like, I like that they brought him back. As some people may know, he was originally going to be Hank Scorpio, which was already a villain character in the show before. And
an evil sounding name.
Yeah, Scorpio. So I like the fact that I understand why they go, right, we want him back. He's great, but maybe not long-term fans of the show are going to understand who that is, because obviously the characters are going to recognise him, so they made him someone else. I love his performance, though. Like you say, he's just so deadpan, and every time he's on screen, you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know, sometimes he's playing it up to President Schwarzenegger to, manipulate him to change the plan, and the next he's going to just
gone mad with power.
Yeah, exactly. or he's just going to go, fuck it, I'll just kill them all. Let's just blow them up. I don't care anymore. Like, I'm in charge now.
I've trapped them like carrots, and I'm going to blow them up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I didn't like, actually. I forgot about this. I didn't like Colin.
No. I think Lisa had the weakest arc, actually, going off that.
I'd say so, like I said at the beginning. And the worst part is, you can't even point out why, really. You know what, I'll tell you what it is. Lisa is one of the most developed characters in the show. She's like the most intelligent, and they reduce her to just a girl having a crush.
Yeah.
And that, to me, doesn't sit well.
No, especially not with who Lisa is. Like, obviously she's had crushes in the show, and they've tackled loads of stuff with her before, as a part of growing up, obviously, but I think, like you said, there's not much for her to do. She's so developed, she doesn't have ties to anyone else, like...
She got the short end of the stick, I think, because they wanted to give everybody else more screen time. I think that's what it is.
And you'd think with the environmentalism message that it would tie in well with her, because she already is such a hardcore environmentalist. But, like, she's already got that driving point. She's already the one that's trying to be the conscience. And I think she kind of gets overshadowed by Marge, because obviously she's closer to Homer, so she's going to be more on his shoulder than
Marge is
Lisa.
the emotional powerhouse of this, like, by a significant margin. I think she's amazing. Like, genuinely, I feel like if Marge had less screen time in this, the movie wouldn't be nowhere near as good as it is.
No, definitely not.
Because it like I said, it shows how much she loves Homer, and she tries her best in any situation to support him. The entire town is about to murder her family, and she's like, right, you fucked up, but we're gonna
go back.
We're a family. We're gonna do this. Yeah, like I said at the end, she's also the conscience, like the conscience. Like you said at the end, she's like, we'll go back to Springfield.
Yeah.
And Homer's just there, like, no, I don't really care, to be honest. I'm happy here. Yeah. And then the wedding tape.
I think that's probably the whole more like.
The saddest part of the film.
Yeah, really that's where the heart of it relies, and you're right, from 100%.
It's the turning point, isn't it?
Yeah.
It even makes Homer think, then he thinks, oh, yeah, I fucked up.
And Julie Kavanaugh, the voice of Marge, she did over 100 takes for that. Well over 100 takes apparently, and I think in real life, I think that's when she was at her most defeated, because. Apparently she had to drive through like a storm, like a snowstorm or something, to get there, and she was already like, I'm so fucking exhausted. And then like
I think that
comes
adds
through.
To it. I think that adds to it.
And she got nominated for an Emmy for that as well.
Oh, that's
Wow.
fantastic. Because I feel
Yeah.
like it does add to it in the sense that she's exhausted by Homer, and you
Yeah.
can hear it in her voice.
Yeah.
But she's like, I do love you, but
I gotta go.
This has to be done.
Yeah. And going back to saving the Springfield part, I think that plays well into her character because she's shown in like quite early episodes that she loves Springfield. When they move, funny enough, with the Hank Scorpio episode, she's the most reluctant one to move because she's like, "But we live here, we have a life here." And there's another episode where Lemon of Troy, where they go to Shelbyville and they steal the lemon tree and they have an argument and stuff. She's the one giving Bart the message that like, you're eating Springfield and you have a lemon here. You're drinking Springfield and you have the lemonade. You know, do you know what I mean? She's quite clearly happy where she is. She loves her home.
That's
She loves the
I'm
fact she
thinking
loves
there, right?
everyone
We
there.
talked about the game earlier, for example. I remember Marge's mission in my head, and her power is to bring everyone together and work together and save Springfield. I remember that with the megaphone. Not that the megaphone's relevant, but I mean, like, even in the game, they got it right. That is Marge's character.
Yeah, it all plays well. You can tell that the game and the film as well, that they really enjoyed. They know these characters and
They're consistent.
Yes, yeah, and I love that. And I think people always say, "Oh, the Simpsons aren't consistent," and like, yeah, they've had retcons here and stuff, and you know, there's a jump in timeline. Homer was now born in the 80s in current canon. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was born in like the 50s before.
Oh
It's
my God.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but like, you know, when you look back on earlier episodes and stuff with the film and stuff with the games and stuff, you can tell these people really put a lot of heart and thought into it.
Yeah, I'd say so actually. Like I'd really agree with that. To be honest with you, what did you think about the animation? We talked about it like a catching up, but like, how did you feel the animation distinguished itself from other animation? What makes you think, okay, I want to watch The Simpsons over, say, I don't know, Family Guy or South Park?
South Park and Family Guy, I think they both look so cheap and they look so crude. And The Simpsons haven't got the greatest animation in the world. You know, in like season 1 to 3, people's mouths move and their head moves the other way. Do you know what I mean? Like you could pause along with any moment.
There's always errors though.
Yeah, of course. But I think with The Simpsons, I don't know. There's just a lot of heart in it, and also like
I was saying, even the animation,
you can feel it bleed into the animation, and you know there's like. Look online. There's so many accounts dedicated to posting scenic posts of The Simpsons and stuff like that. There's like really nice sunsets and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it really like
someone is out there and they've taken a screenshot and that is their wallpaper on their PC, for example.
I've had the scene in Mother Simpson when Homer sits in the car and his mother's been arrested. He's only just met her. He thought she was dead after all this time. He sees her and then she gets arrested again. She's been on the run. The episode ends. He just sits in his car and he looks at the stars and the music.
You know what? You told me to watch that episode. It was the list you gave me. I remember that. That was very good.
That always gets me every time, and you don't get anything like that in South Park or Family. Obviously, South Park maybe not because it is strictly like dark comedy, but like Family Guy tries so hard to be like Simpsons with its manipulative. Emotional beats.
Yeah, I
The
get
Simpsons
that.
is not manipulative, it's just you feel it. Family Guy, I've never felt anything from Family Guy. I've laughed and that's it.
Simpsons feels like it deserves the emotions that it pulls out of you. Family Guy feels like it's like, no, you should think this.
Yeah, look, we're doing the slow zoom. They're tilting the head.
Sad music in the background.
Yeah.
And we've learned our lesson, by the way. No, you haven't, though. You haven't learned it.
Yeah.
Do you remember, obviously Simpsons was always big, obviously, but do you remember Simpsons Mania at the time of this movie, where it was literally fucking everywhere?
This film was huge, yeah.
I remember, literally, think of anything, and it would have Homer's face on it, like, blatantly.
Yeah.
As in, like I said, the game, obviously, the movie itself, the show was blowing up again, because the movie had just come out. T-shirts, I remember having a fucking Stretch Armstrong that was Homer.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Yeah, it's like Homer on it, fucking
Yeah. I think since the 90s, I don't think the Simpsons hype has been that high. Frog, did you find anything interesting about the Simpsons mania at the time?
Oh, right, I think about the movie.
Well, both. I could see you were going to say something, I cut you off. I didn't want you to think that, you're going to say anything. I was
No, I was just thinking, my parents, back in 2007, bought me a Homer Simpson toasty maker.
See, it's anything.
I remember as a kid, it got out of the comics, was at the time of the film, I had a Homer Simpson radio, he comes in, he's got a big duff can in his belly button, and you switch the duff can to turn it on and to turn the volume up and shit.
I remember those little robots that would walk around.
Oh, I know exactly.
There was a Homer one.
They're terrifying.
I had one of those.
I had one of them. Yeah.
Like everything, literally, you could have fucking shit paper and you'd have Homer's face on it, and you'd feel great because you're like, I'm wiping my ass with Homer's face.
Yeah.
It's great. This is.
You know, you say that as a joke, but I'm pretty sure there's actually something else.
There is bound to be. I remember. I remember seeing on stuff. Obviously, we weren't there, but in America, the 7-Elevens, they transformed them into actual Quickie Marts during the promotion of the film. I think that's fucking great.
It is.
That is pretty cool.
You wouldn't get that with anything else. It is. That's fucking amazing. I would love that. Do you know what I mean?
And you walk in there, and say you don't know the Simpsons, you ask him, what is there a rebrand? Has someone bought you ideas? Oh no, it's for the Simpsons. And you go home and you think to yourself like, maybe I should watch the Simpsons.
Yeah.
And then you go to your Homer Simpson's toilet. You go to your Homer Simpson toilet paper, and you're like, oh yeah, I like the Simpsons. And then the next day, everything in your house is just Simpsons merch.
People are yellow in the street.
By the way, this is Feben's mind at all times.
Yeah.
This is everything for him.
Yeah.
He's looking at us right now, and we're just side characters. I'm just Mo and
Barney.
Yeah, I got Mo and Barney next to me.
That's all it is.
I look like Carl. You know?
He looks in the mirror, he just sees a yellow man staring back at him. A two-dimensional yellow man.
Yeah. I got a massive overbite and big, massive yellow, white eyes.
But yeah, I think Simpsons Mania was absolutely insane, to be honest with you. And I know it happens with a lot of things. It's happened with Doctor Who, it's happened with everything.
Yeah.
But I feel like Fox, they did it in a way that didn't feel like they were just doing it for profit, do you know what I mean?
It didn't feel full. It felt like, this is something new we love and this is something you love. We're going to give back to you.
Yeah, I'd say so. Right, Spider Pig. Let's talk about Spider Pig.
Yeah.
Right, I think Spider Pig's hilarious. I don't know why. It's such a stupid idea.
I think it's you know what, right? Like, it's such a stupid joke, but like I watch it now and I still think that's really cute. I really like that. The pig tracks on the ceiling and he's fucking doing the song and he's got the little glasses.
And you know what? I could touch upon that actually, like a similar thing I was going to talk about, and the fact that like there's jokes every 10 seconds, and I'd say there's only like 2 jokes in the film that don't land, and I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, but like those 2 don't land, but like everything else hits. Yeah, it hits. I mean,
with the pace that they come in, do you know what I mean? Like it's really hard to pull something off where it's like a laugh a minute or a laugh like every 10 seconds, and I think they do it really, really well.
So I remember watching this for the first time as an adult, like semi-recent, like a year and a half ago, and I remember thinking to myself, this is fucking amazing. This is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah. That all contributes to a lot of the writers coming back, because most of, like, you know, people say the golden year of The Simpsons is like seasons 3 to 10 or something like that, and most of the writers, they all left, and like they all came back. Like most of them came back. Like people like Conan O'Brien didn't, but like John Swartzwelder and Josh Weinstein and Bill Oakley and stuff, people like that, they all came back, and the film is really quotable, just like the show.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I'd say so. Like I make movie quotes all the like you do the show quotes because you know the show.
Yeah.
Like think about it. I'm not even a big fan, but I know like pretty much every line in the movie.
Yeah.
And that goes to show us how iconic it is.
Exactly.
And I think it helps. Like we talked about consistency earlier. Well, the fact all those writers came back, it goes to show how consistent these characters are because they've come back from the show, they've written the show, they know these characters in and out.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot.
I think that really, I think that was the right choice, because if you had people that weren't familiar and were writers anyway and weren't familiar with the show, I think it would have crashed and burned. Well, you know, it would have been like modern Simpsons.
Yeah.
You know, which I still think can be decent in my personal opinion, but like
it's not as good as some of the older ones.
Yeah,
I'm not there yet, boys. To be honest, I'm still looking around like season 9 or 10. I had a bit of a break because I had a Simpsons binge for like 2 weeks straight. But you know, I'm excited to watch the rest, though. I genuinely am. And you know what? I'll tell you what I do love, though, that I pretty much have watched all of now with the Treehouse of Horror episodes. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And that lets them go all out with their creativity. A bit like the movie, really. They can just kind of go, right, here's the budget, do what you want.
And I think even with the worst Treehouse of Horror episodes, they're still really creative. Like, you know, the plot alone, do you know what I mean? Like, I think, I like that they let their head down and go, well, fuck it, this is just some weird shit that we've done.
How do you feel about post-Disney Simpsons?
I've
seen a lot of the shorts now on Disney Plus, and like with the show,
hate them. I hate them. I'm just gonna say I hate them.
I was gonna say that you know, you could argue the show, a lot of it was in development, and it's like before the merger, obviously. So like some of it's probably still original Fox stuff.
Yeah.
But now the shorts I'm not gonna lie, they feel like Disney.
They are so forced and so blatant. Well, the thing is, they make a joke about it in the one where they go to Moe's Tavern. I remember Frog, we were talking about it, and we were like, oh, this is quite funny, like, you know, Goofy and Homer and stuff, and, you know, the Marvel characters and Star Wars characters there, and it's quite cute. And then, like, Lisa comes in and she sings a song and she's dressed as a Disney princess about, like, how, like, oh, we're cash grabs and stuff. Then you think, Lisa would never make it, like, Lisa's the only character that would hate something like that. Why would you? And then, like, I don't know, maybe it's a bit, you know, it is meant to be a joke.
Disney turns around, you don't know Lisa, we know Lisa.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, this is the new, that's basically them going, this is the new Lisa, and it's like,
we don't want the new Lisa, we want the old one.
Yeah, exactly. You've had, like over, like, 20 years of character development, and you've just pissed on it with something. And the thing that annoys me as well, they did a crossover with Billie Eilish, of all people.
Oh, yeah.
And Lisa and Billie Eilish have, like, a moment, you know, they meet, whatever, and they go off, and they talk about, like, how they're musical prodigies and stuff. And Billie Eilish goes, oh, my dad never supported my music career, did yours? And Lisa goes, no, he hated mine. And it's like, Homer bought you that saxophone. Like, there's a whole episode dedicated to how he saved up money for an air conditioner or something that the family needed, and then he went and spent it on there because he loves you. There's so many Homer and Lisa. Do you know that? It's stuff like, you know...
that ruins it, doesn't it? That completely...
Yeah.
It's like, again, like we were saying, the characters felt consistent for so long, as we were saying.
Yeah.
And then they go, we're going to shit on this.
Yeah. And at first glance, you think, like, oh, whatever, and then you really think about it and you go...
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, you have no right to say this.
These are the characters I love. What have you done? Stop butchering things that I love.
And there are episodes now that are new that I really like. I really like A Serious Flanders, which is like which is basically a whole it's a 2-parter episode. It's a parody of Netflix shows. It's basically treated The Simpsons like it was like a Netflix original.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
It is really, really funny, and like there's a whole shootout scene, and fucking Mr. Burns gets shot, his head explodes. It's great, but like, I don't know, it's stuff like that, and like, you know, when they first bought them, they got the adverts, and they're like, we're bowing down to our new corporate overlords. It's like, you know, Disney, you like, The Simpsons was a show that made fun of it. I mean, in the movie, Bart puts on the bra, and he's like, I'm a mascot of an evil corporation, and now, like, they own it. It's quite dark.
Yeah,
really
talking about the newer stuff, like you said, just because Disney accept what they are and make a point of saying, yeah, we know what we are, doesn't make it okay though, does it?
In a way, it makes it worse.
No, it does. It really does. It's not fair, and it shits on the franchise. Although, going back to what you said about Flanders, I really enjoyed Flanders in this.
Yeah.
I thought, like, it's the first, obviously it's my first exposure to these characters, but I know from the outside, people are like, oh, Flanders is annoying.
Yeah.
But I was watching it, I thought, oh, he's just a really nice guy.
Yeah, and that says me more about New Simpsons, is that, well, the term Flanderize comes from that, because of what I did. He's just one note now, I'm the religious one. Originally, he was just the perfect... He had the perfect house, he had the perfect marriage, he had 2 godly kids that didn't do anything wrong, and, you know, you look at messy Homer, and, you know, he drinks all the time, and Bart's a troublemaker, Lisa's a loudmouth or whatever and stuff, and it's just meant to be like... It was meant to be like what America wanted... Flanders was meant to be what America wanted
the American dream.
Yeah.
The nuclear family.
Yeah, and Homer is what real families are. You know, the Simpsons are what real families are.
Quite relatable.
Yeah, exactly. And
everyone knows a real Flanders. Well, at least the old Flanders, anyway.
Yeah. And I like the fact that they've made, you know, Flanders and Homer are always meant to be opposites. I like the fact that they use that with Bart for his relationship. Like, it shows Bart what Homer could have been to him. And
by the end of it, Bart still turns around and he's thinking, oh, this is my dad.
Yeah.
And you know what? I love, despite Flanders thinking, okay, bit of an abusive dad, isn't he, Homer? Yeah, but at the end he still goes, well, Bart, that's your dad. If you want to be with him, you go and you love him, and I'm going to stay with my kids with their evil curly hair.
Yeah.
It's the devil's curly hair.
Yeah. This is why I got the research guy for Roxy.
Yeah, and I like that. I'm pretty sure he even says, well, you've always got an honorary spot with the Flanders clan or something like that. Like,
yeah, and it's again, you can feel it there again.
There's a YouTuber called The Real Jims. He does a lot of Simpsons content and stuff, and he does a good episode on how Flanders and Homer aren't friends, they're brothers.
Right.
You know, Homer hates Flanders, but he doesn't, on a personal level, but on a surface level, he doesn't hate him he doesn't want anything bad to happen to him.
He hates how he isn't him a little bit, doesn't he?
He's so jealous of Flanders. I mean, there's even jokes how he fucking fancies Maud. There's quite a few, there's a slight running joke in the series. He's like, oh, well, you know, Maud is hot and stuff. It shows how much he wants to be Flanders and stuff, and I like that there's still love for Flanders with Homer's family, even though Homer's a complete prick to him. He's like, well, you know, they're my neighbours at the end of the day. I love them. I lived with them for all these years.
And like when the mob, the entire city, including Grandpa, might I add, are trying to kill the Simpsons. They even when they kill Maggie, there's a dummy on the noose. Flanders is there, like, right, come on, I'm going to save you. Come over here, and give you a hand. And that just goes to show how nice of a well written this character is. Like, even though he's been put down by Homer for years and years and years, he's still there like, well, I'm in here,
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to help them. And you know what? I would say I love Flanders. Have you seen that band? They're all just dressed as Flanders.
Ugly Dougly, the metal band, yeah.
Maybe I should do that. I've got a mustache and glasses, so you never know. maybe not this Halloween, because you've got a secret plan for this Halloween, but next Halloween, maybe.
You're one green sweater away, my friend.
Maybe I'll find God as well.
Yeah. Fat chance that happened.
Let me have a think. Also, you know the director. Did you know he also co-directed Monsters Inc?
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
And that's my favourite, like one of my favourite animated movies of all time. So I think that David Silverman he's up there in the tier list. You know what I mean?
That reminds me. Brad Bird used to work on The Simpsons. I think he wrote some stuff, but what he's best known is for being a character designer. And he basically directed. I think he directed The Incredibles.
Oh, another one of my favourite movies of all time, actually.
Frog. I don't know if you would like to look that up since you research memory. I am fairly certain he did the Incredibles.
What was his name again?
Brad Bird.
Brad Bird. Well, Frog, what are you all doing with that, right? Let's talk about how much this movie earned.
Yeah.
So, for 2007, it earned £500 million. Now that is insane.
Yeah, unheard of.
And for an animated movie at the time,
exactly.
It's unheard of. Like now, if a movie breaks, I know now everyone tries to be the $1 billion movie now, obviously.
Yeah.
But back then, $500 million. That is insanity. Frank, have you got the information?
Yeah, Brad Bird did in fact direct. Let's see, you've got all the list here. The Incredibles franchise, so both 1 and 2. He did Ratatouille, The Iron Giant, the Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol film.
Oh, so not only is he a genius, he also has range.
Yeah.
Alright then, fine, okay, take your perfect life.
Funny thing by here as well, he kind of looks like Edna.
I'm pretty sure he voiced Edna.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because I remember they hired someone and he was like, oh, I want the voice to be like this. And she was like, you've done it. I don't need to be here. I'm going to go.
I'm just going to leave. You're good enough. Okay. Oh, so he's even more talented.
Yeah, so this talented bastard. There's all his works of art.
Let's do a tribute to him. Let's make a cult in his name.
This episode is dedicated to Brad Bird and David Silverman, Matt Green.
Just so you know, guys, okay?
Yeah.
You don't pay us any money for this, right? Actually, no, it's for free. You know what, you're so good.
You've got enough money.
Going back to the budget though, and the gross and the budget and stuff. So £500 million in 2007, as we said, catastrophic amount of money even for now.
Yeah.
For an animated movie especially.
Oh, yeah.
Budget of $75 million. Now that is a lot, obviously, but to make that much money back shows how engrossing The Simpsons is.
Yeah, I think it really shows how much people want to like The Simpsons as well. I think at the time most people wrote it off. I think only people that watch it, long-time viewers, maybe casual at the time.
Again,
it was on.
The Simpsons movie came out. It was an event. People like me,
yeah, exactly.
Even me and my family went to watch The Simpsons movie.
Yeah.
And I think pretty much everyone in my family enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? Everyone did.
Yeah. I've never really met any. Obviously, the people are out there, but I've never met people out there that dislike the Simpsons movie. I'm going to be honest.
I'd say so.
Yeah, as a kid, I was a bit like, it's great, it's funny or whatever. And then, like, as you get older, you learn to appreciate stuff more and whatever. And I watched it again and I go, oh my god, like,
well,
this was it, like, do you know what I mean?
That's why Simpsons trumps pretty much all the other animation shows, because it does appeal to the entire family. It doesn't matter if you're a dad, if you're a mum, a newborn baby. Yeah, even a newborn baby that can't even speak or comprehend languages, they're like, oh, yeah.
My 5-year-old brother learned with The Simpsons because he's seen my phone screen with...
What is Simpsons?
Yeah, I see her now, and I wore a Homer t-shirt, and he's like, that's so Miss Simpson.
Yeah,
like you said, it appeals to everyone, because... horror fans, movie fans, sci-fi nerds. Most of the writers are all sci-fi nerds. Well, I mean, Matt Groening made drama.
People like us, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And this is what we'd love to create something like this. Do you know what I mean? We'd be lucky to create something like this. Something that's iconic, definitely. That has lasted this long.
Something as fast-witted, quirky, quotable. Do you know what I mean? Like the characters feel real. Yeah, there's a guy walking around in a bumblebee costume, but like. in 22 for Children about Springfield, you see he's got a wife and a dog.
They're alive.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
kind of feels like even between scenes, these people are doing things.
Yeah.
I know they're not real, but between the scenes, you're thinking, oh, wonder how the bar's going for Mo.
Yeah. Something like Family Guy. There's a talking baby. There's a guy with wooden limbs. Like, yeah, it's funny, it's quirky, it's a cartoon, but like,
It's absurdist.
I don't care
and
Quagmire's doing.
Yeah, and it works for them, but again, there's no heart in that though. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's so weird. It feels more like a feeling in. Oh, it's so cringe, but a feeling in my heart rather than anything else. You know what I mean?
Because the emotional beats and everything, and you grow an attachment to these characters, and I feel like that's why people like me were annoyed with the Disney shows when they do them wrong. So it's like, that's not them. That's the corporate.
That is
cringe, but that's the corporate shell of the.
That's what you think is The Simpsons,
Yeah.
or what, say, the newcomer would think is The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It's the passing grade. It's the sea level, isn't it?
Well, Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer, and so many other characters. In general.
You know what? I was watching the credits because I watched this last night, right?
Yeah.
And I saw each cast member had like 20 different credits.
Yeah. What? They're lucky to have such a
and to
great
be fair,
cast.
you can't really tell either. They're the same person.
Yeah.
Like, to be, South Park, for example. To be,
They literally
as amazing as it is, it's more or less the same voice over and over again.
Yeah.
Kind of makes it funnier, so I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But with this, they're so talented.
Yeah.
They don't have to outsource all of their voice actors. You're like,
Yeah.
do you want to do this one again? And you're like, oh yeah, of course I can.
Yeah.
And they can do something new with it as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's now if you look at the newest episodes, he's now like a consultant producer, because I'm pretty sure I read or heard something like a while ago that like in like the later seasons, the teen season stuff, they were getting home and to do like darker things, edgy things, and yeah, it's funny and stuff. But I'm pretty sure like a few times he read a few scripts and he was like, he wouldn't do that though.
And you know what? It's good that they consult him on it, because unlike Star Wars, where they also Disney, they Luke Skywalker, for example, with Mark Hamill, by the time the sequel movies came out, and Mark Hamill was like, okay, I'm obligated to play this character the way you want me to, but this isn't my character.
Yeah.
And Disney turned around and were like, well, you're going to do it anyway, and we don't really care.
Yeah.
But at least they had him on as a consultant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something.
I think towards the end he was like, right, if you're going to make me keep doing this and I want to do it, I should be. And you look at the latest season now. Homer is a lot nicer. He's probably the nicest he's ever been, because he's still a prick in the earliest seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I really appreciate that. It shows that like they've got integrity and they're not just doing it for the paycheck.
Well, if you've played someone for nearly 40 years, you're going to know the ins and outs of that character, aren't you? It's quite simple, really.
And it's just easy enough for them to, they could have just gone like Harry Shearer did, just go, I'm not doing this anymore. It's been too long. But like he even came back. It shows that they still love what they do.
Who created The Simpsons? Was there a group of people, or was it a singular person?
Matt Groening,
right,
on a whim.
So was this his first property, or did he do anything before this? Do you know?
He originally did a series of comic strips called Life in Hell with the rabbits.
Right.
And he also did Frank, you might want to jump in here. He did another.
Earn your paycheck, Frog.
He did another comic series. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like these two little kids. It's mentioned in The Simpsons at one point. It's a throwaway dialogue. Homer goes, "It's called Love Is," I think.
Hold on, it's coming up. It's loading.
Oh, it's coming. But
pull that shit up, Jamie.
That's a podcast reference. I was thinking, right, that I've seen the Simpsons pilot. Did that air? Like the original pilot, where they all looked very different.
Yeah.
Did that air?
Well, I'll go into it. So he had like these two comic series, and they wanted to make an animation shorts out of the Life is Hell. He did Love Is, I think he did Life is Hell, and they wanted to make a show out of Life is Hell. And he decided, you know what, this is my thing. I don't want to sell out. I'd rather do something else. So while he was in the waiting room, he literally just drew like a really crude sketch of a family.
And
he went in, he used his own family's names. His dad's called Homer, his mother's called Marge, his sister's called Lisa and Maggie.
His dad is called Homer.
Yeah, Homer Groening. They're all off it. I mean, Chief Wiggum is based off his wife's maiden name, I think. Like his maiden name is Wiggum.
So he was just doing it on a whim.
Yeah, he just went in and went, right, this is Homer, this is blah blah blah. This is a family. And then they were like, yeah, cool.
Did he struggle to get picked up while doing this?
I think he was talking to like Sam's. I don't know the names of it. I don't want to make a fool of myself.
That's fine. What about like companies and stuff? Did he go to like was it just Fox, or did he go to a few different places?
It started off as shorts on a Tracy Ullman show, and then they were like bumpers in between, like because it was a live action sketch show, and then it got picked up by Fox for like one season, and then the pilot was the episode where they get a babysitter, but it was so badly drawn and animated they had to hold it back for the season finale, and then get another episode for the pilot, and then that's what led into the feature-long episode of the Christmas, Simpsons Roasted Open Fire, and then that's what officially started the Simpsons.
So, what would you say is the peak of Simpsons? As the expert, the resident expert in the entirety of the UK, well, you got to live up to that now, by the way.
Well,
what would you say is the peak of the Simpsons? Would you say it's the movie, or would you say it before the movie?
I would say,
because I say most people would say post movie is when it started to decline.
Yeah, probably. I could see a decline, but I used to hate season 12 onwards, and I watch them back and I think there's still some good news. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not like as punchy, but like I personally love season 4 to like, I think season 4 to like season 10 is like still like great and funny and different and stuff. I love everything about this, most stuff about The Simpsons, but that's probably my favorite. Those are my personal favorite seasons, and I would say the movie as well. The episode Barthood is really good. I think it's a parody of Boyhood. I don't know if I haven't seen it, but it's a film.
I don't think I have either.
And it shows like this boy's life and how he grows up and stuff. And it's a newer episode, but it's still very emotional. And it's basically like what if Bart did get older? What if the Simpsons grew old? And
I think I have actually. I think I have seen this. They've done that a few times, haven't they? Actually.
Yeah.
And Lisa's usually very successful.
Yeah.
And things like that. I'll tell you what I'd say are my favourite episodes. Obviously, I haven't seen a lot, so my library isn't as educated as yours, so to speak. But I really enjoyed Treehouse of Horror 4. Is that about Pierce Brosnan in it?
Oh.
He's the house or something.
Yeah,
that entire Treehouse of Horror episode.
That's later on, but I do like that.
And
episode.
I really enjoyed the Hellfish episode.
Yeah.
With Grandpa and Bart, because I love that relationship.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's fantastic.
It's not very explored. It's not explored. Well, funny enough, in Boyhood, Barthood even, they do touch upon it a bit as well.
Assuming Grandpa's passed away at that point.
He does, yeah.
He visits Grandpa's grave. He's chatting like to Grandpa, thinking he's off screen, but then it pans around, it's his grave.
Oh, that is heartbreaking.
It is, yeah.
Oh, that is genuinely heartbreaking.
There are a lot of episodes. I suppose I could fill a whole episode. I could fill a whole episode of this podcast with a list of episodes, so I won't get into it now.
7, 8, 5, 9, 1, 9, 8.
I'll tell you the one I really liked was the Stonecutters.
Oh, it's just us, isn't it? We get drunk and we talk about the
secret cult that just gets drunk every night.
We pretend that we're doing important things, and in reality, we're just drinking. We're talking. You know what? We thought to ourselves, the biggest thing we've done is we're gonna make a podcast about the shit that we talk instead of just talking it normally.
Yeah. When I see this song, it just instantly reminded me of that thing with Patrick Stewart, which probably one of his funniest performances as anything. When he's talking about how important they are, and he goes, "Now let's get drunk and play ping pong." And you go, "Yeah!"
That is us. Yeah. Let's get drunk and just talk at the bollocks for an hour.
Yeah.
I see, an hour is the podcast, but when we're out of the podcast, the hour is times by 10.
Yeah. Is there anything... Right, so the Simpsons movie has got a lot of small details. What are two things, are there two things that both of you have noticed in the film that you really, touched on, in repeat viewings? Is there anything you've noticed, you go, I've never seen that before, I quite like that?
You've got me. You know what, right? Not things that I didn't notice originally, but little things that I enjoy that make the movie with me.
Yeah.
Things like, when they're begging Mr. Burns for power, and he's there like, I'm thinking about it, and then they're just like, okay, just look into your heart, please, will you just give us some power?
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna die. And then Smithers is in the background like, no, don't say this, please don't say it. And he releases the dogs to basically rip them apart.
Yeah.
I like that because that's Mr. Burns' character down to a T, and that genuinely buckles me every time.
Yeah.
There's so many little things.
There are so many.
I love the joke with Cletus at the end with Russ Cargill. And
I've lost tic-tac-toe to a chicken.
And he's sitting there and he's doing like a thumb trick. He's making his thumb disappear. He's like, how did I do that? Then he's like, I don't know, 4 generations of inbreeding. What about you, Frog? What did you think?
I'll have to watch it a few times. I really like... as the dome is just coming down over Springfield.
Yeah.
it's just sealed them in, and all the characters from the show are doing different things to try and crack it. Like Sideshow Mel is like bashing it with his bone.
Yeah.
The boxer.
Dredrick Tatum.
Yeah, he's punching it, and all of a sudden he goes for like a crotch shot.
He's like, which one was lucky?
Krusty's throwing like cream pies and stuff.
Like it's perfect for each. Again, like we both said similar things actually. Like the things we enjoyed are the characters being the characters.
Yeah. Two or three things I really liked as well. One thing I noticed when we watched it that really made me smile is that when Lenny and Carl are in the river, they come out and the overalls disintegrate. They melt because the water is so acidic. I've never even noticed this. Well, the film's like 15 years old now. I've never seen this before. I noticed Mr. Burns and Smithers are watching. Smithers cracks a smile when they're fucking close to disintegrating. You can see his eyes swollen because he's gay, isn't he? And he's like, I was like, that's really funny because like. You wouldn't, like I said, I never noticed that, and like, we've all seen this film so many fucking times, and like I saw that, like,
every time you see something small,
that's really cute, and like,
what's the other one?
There's two, it's in the same scene pretty much, but I really like the Homer and Bart jump the Springfield Gorge. Obviously, Bart was going to do it, and then Homer does it to save him, and obviously you get that really long, famous shot where he's falling down the cliff.
Oh, the ambulance is there.
Yeah, and you think you should be dead. Yeah, and I like the fact that they actually finally do it. They have that moment where the two of them do it, and then the ambulance is still there in the tree.
It's world building, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I like that it's a nice little callback to like, if you really pay attention to the show, this is for you.
I'll tell you what made me laugh, actually. Do you know when Lisa's doing her environmental sort of expo, so to speak, to the town?
Yeah.
Like, right, if we don't sort this out, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
It's going to be code black. And then Lenny's like, oh my god, code black is like the worst colour there is.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Carl. Carl's just like, nah, it's fine.
I get it all the time.
Yeah, he's like, it's fine. And that makes me laugh because, they're friends, and just the way that, like, the humour comes across.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it doesn't come across as mean-hearted. Again,
Yeah.
Family Guy would be like, they wouldn't just go, oh, this is a passing joke, it's meant to be funny. Family Guy would be like, we're going to dig this specific race, and we're going to insult them.
And they explain the joke in Family Guy as well. That's
Which makes
really...
it mean-hearted then.
Yeah, and it's like, that's the worst colour is because they're all terrible people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then,
exactly.
Yeah, and then Carl would be like, in Family Guy, Carl would be like, oh yeah, we are all pretty terrible people. It's like, well, that's not...
to be fair, we did do that.
Yeah, and it's like, just keep it to the one line. Like, you don't need to keep going.
But Simpsons, perfect.
Yeah,
but, snappy, funny, boom, next joke, carry on.
Yeah, exactly. And, if they want to make a long joke and know where to do it, they know how to do it, they know when to go over it. Family Guy will just do it and then hope for a laugh.
Do you know what I really appreciated in this was Maggie?
Yeah.
Maggie has no lines whatsoever, obviously she's a baby, but there's something about Maggie's character that is so wholesome.
Mr. Cheney, take out the baby. She fucking this isn't wholesome, but like a great Maggie moment. She fucking smashes the glass and like offers him out basically.
I feel like Maggie is like the child prodigy. I know Lisa's meant to be, but I feel like Maggie just has everything in there.
Yeah, there is one episode where they hint on that, and it turns out she's not. But like she is quite smart for a baby. I like that. She's probably the best of the Simpsons in a way because. They all get like to
think that she can to think she could put across this character without having any dialogue whatsoever.
Exactly, yeah.
And again, she's a baby.
Yeah. So is there anything, I know we've praised this film, and I don't really have anything, but is there anything that you two didn't like about the film?
Like I said, I only really dislike Colin, to be honest.
Yeah, he's quite like, I know he's written to be like the perfect one, but like he doesn't even come back. Well, like he's in background shots.
So lazy.
I like that, saying how like it was going to be a send off. Yeah, cool, whatever, doesn't work. And obviously they came back, and for a while in the intro, and a couple of episodes they referenced the movie. So like obviously it happened. They live it. You know what I mean? It's breathing and stuff. So like, why not bring him back? Lisa could be fine with a boyfriend. It hasn't been every episode.
Yeah, they could break up at one point.
Yeah,
and then they could just like be like, oh, he's sidelined now.
Yeah, and just reference it at least. Yeah,
I think he appeared twice, wasn't it? Ever again, and that was it.
Yeah, so they clearly didn't care enough about him.
No lines though.
Yeah.
By the way, his dad's not Bono.
Yeah.
His dad isn't Bono.
He's not Bono.
Oh, I also, I like the joke about Green Day being in the beginning, the Titanic joke and everything.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a bit dated, though.
Doesn't really
Green
add
Day.
anything,
Yeah, they're just there.
Speaking of dated jokes, I didn't really... And I know this is a bit of a point of annoyance for a lot of Simpsons fans. President Schwarzenegger... Obviously, he was a governor of California at the time. Governor of Alaska. Governor of California at the time.
Alaska.
I get it. Obviously the Simpsons have California. I like the fact that the Simpsons have their own Schwarzenegger parody, Rainier Wolfcastle. Every other Simpsons side character's in this, apart from Sideshow Bob. Why didn't they just bring Rainier Wolfcastle and be the president?
Wait,
it makes sense.
I thought it was always the same guy.
They basically are the same guy, but they directly call him President Schwarzenegger in the film. It's the same voice, though. It's pretty much the same design.
They made an entirely new character.
They just made the Schwarzenegger instead of the character that they've had.
But oh my god, that's what I mean. I'm not educated, so to me, I just thought, that was always that guy.
Yeah, it is. But it basically is. It's the same voice performance. It's just a different name. But it's obviously for people that don't watch it. But like,
oh yeah, okay, it's just to make it more accessible.
But like Frank said, Dredrick Tatham's in it. Do you know what I mean? He's only had like one spotlight episode. Do you know what I mean? Why not just make it him?
Well, also no Sideshow Bob in this.
Yeah,
and I love Sideshow Bob.
He's probably one of my favourite characters next to Homer, and
it would be nice if there was like an end credits sting with Sideshow Bob.
Or
or maybe he turns around at the end and is like, no one can kill Bart. I'm gonna kill Bart, and he helps them or something. That'd be cool.
I thought, in the big marching scene where they're all like going to his house ready to get Homer, I thought he was part of the mob. But after watching it back, I couldn't find him.
Yeah, and it's weird because you've seen like side characters, you've seen like one joke and there. Do you know what I mean? Like you can spot people, so like why weren't they there?
Yeah, and you'd think because let's be honest now, this is a celebration of all of the Simpsons. This movie is a celebration of the entire run to that point. But there's no Sideshow Bob, and he's like one of the iconic characters.
Yeah.
Like, you give me that list to watch of the Simpsons episodes, you were like, right, I'm not going to lie to you, the majority of these are Sideshow Bob episodes. And within an episode or two, I was like, this guy is absolutely amazing.
He's so funny. I love the voice. I love everything about Sideshow Bob.
I love his little shoes. I love it. I love the size of his feet. I love his hair.
Yeah.
I love how she's comically evil he is all of the time.
I love the running joke with the rake.
Yeah.
He stands there and he goes,
Like, it would have been good if they did something along the lines that maybe he was working with Russ Cargill to destroy Springfield, and then he turns around at the end and he thinks, maybe I'm going to help out Springfield.
Well, even in the game, even in the Simpsons game, they get into the spaceship and he walks up and they're like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, I'm working with aliens now, and like, I'm going to just kill Springfield.
Actually, the aliens don't appear in this either, do they?
Yeah, no, they don't either. That's quite
like,
strange.
they're not as, they're not like as iconic as Sideshow Bob. I don't really know what they could have done with them, I suppose. But wasn't there, they meant to do a sequel with the aliens?
I was going to say, Josh, actually, you've just
I've already on
to my next point. So, obviously, at the end of the Simpsons movie, we get the joke with Maggie when she goes, sequel, and, like, they've been working on a sequel for years, apparently, and there was an episode that they held back on for a while called The Man They Came to Dinner, and I think that's in season 26, and basically the Simpsons go to a theme park. Disney World is called, funny enough, like Disney, like D-I-Z-N-E-E,
trademark.
Yeah. And they go on a ride, and basically the ride goes out of control. They fly into space, and they go to Kangen Kodos's planet. Obviously, it's not canon and stuff, but like they want to eat the Simpsons stuff. They held it off because they thought it would have been cinematic enough for a movie, but I think the only reason they didn't do it is because if it wasn't canon, it wouldn't have meant anything.
That's
just, like look at the SpongeBob movies. The first one's great.
The first one is spectacular. Maybe we'll cover that one day.
Yeah. And then like the next two are garbage. I think they were scared of doing it like that, and I'm glad that they haven't done
good,
that.
Though. It's good. The fear is there, though. It's not just like with animation and movies, though. It's there with games as well. Look at Rockstar, for example. Some people are saying, they haven't made the new game because they're making money off GTA or, for example, the old one. But the thing is, once you've made something more or less perfect, let's be honest. Like, people regard GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2 as perfect.
Yeah.
So they're terrified now. Where can they go?
Yeah,
Same with the Simpsons movie. They realised that people were turned around and thought, this movie is fucking spectacular. What are you going to do next?
Yeah, exactly.
How can you top that? How can you top near perfection?
So I have two questions for you both. So going off the sequel, what would you two do in a Simpsons movie sequel, or what would you want to see in a Simpsons
Frog,
movie
you're going to
sequel?
have to do this first, mate, because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm pretty stumped. You know what, actually, I've got it.
Oh, well, I'll just keep quiet then.
No, we'll go to Frog. We'll go to Frog first.
Yeah, go on, you go first. I've got it in you. I'll develop it as you're talking.
You write the script in your head.
I do like what they were thinking about doing with Kangen Kodos, going to their home planet. But I wouldn't mind them actually revealing where Springfield was.
The entire plot
It's been so long, we may as well know.
But they do it through a road trip. So they go through every state, and the final
Yeah.
state they end up in is back in Springfield.
Yeah.
And that's, that's
Okay.
what you see.
Yeah.
I like that, actually. That'd be pretty cool. If they Simpsonize the entire of America, that'd be pretty cool,
Yeah.
actually.
Is there any character stuff you both want to see? Are there any other characters
I
you
was
want in
going to
the
say,
sequel?
this kind of goes for what I was going to
Right,
say.
okay, go on then.
I want a Sideshow Bob movie.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck. You know what? I want the Sideshow Bob movie. I'm thinking something along the lines of, like, maybe he has an arc rather than just being evil.
Yeah.
Maybe he comes to not just, like, want to kill Bart, but he turns around and he thinks to himself, I kind of respect this guy a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm being foiled by this 10-year-old, yes, but this kid has heart.
24 years. Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, they've kind of done that, actually. They've done that in a few episodes.
You know what? What haven't they done? You know what?
Simpsons did it.
Doesn't he? They go to Italy or something for?
Yeah, he has a
Rangers
family. And then there's another one then where he tries to kill him for the last time. Bart goes, why are you doing this? And he's like, oh my god, this has been so long, I don't even know anymore. And then he goes to a White House, not the White House, a lighthouse, he lives in there. And he's like, I'm all revenged out. And then, I don't know, they kind of ignore that he had a wife last time, and he gets with a new woman. And then the next episode after that, he becomes a mall Santa. And he helps Mr. Burns find his Christmas spirit.
I imagine that was very hard.
But he has a really cute one with Bart, where Bart said he's just strangling the Christmas light, and he's like, hello, ho, ho, Bart. He's like, oh, fuck, it's you again. And he goes, actually, I could kill you. But he's like, I'm a method actor, so I'm staying true to my character, and I'm going to let you live.
For Christmas.
Yeah.
Smile, smile. Yeah, I just like something a bit more... like, obviously, I like the fact this is quite removed from the Simpsons canon, but I'd like something to be a bit more diving into the Simpsons canon.
I was going to say the same thing. I would like a bit more fan service.
Yeah.
Because, like, Futurama have got, like, 4 or 5 films? And, like, Bender's big score is a big, like...
Is that the one with
the gross...
The alien...
pink,
The naked alien
the disgusting alien blokes. They did a lot with that, and I would, like... the Simpsons movie obviously is going to appeal to general audience stuff. I think with the second one now, I think, fuck it. No, I don't need to be the basis of the story, but I would like a lot more, like...
Is this your pitch? Is this what are you trying to do it? Are you like, right, hire me, come on, let's do this?
Well, I'm not the best at writing, but, like, if you're listening...
Buy my concept, my concept.
Matt Groening, if you're there. So, how would you both compare this to other TV movies at the time? Like, say, the SpongeBob movie? Other animated shows that turned into films?
Right, okay.
Even the South Park one, fuck it, anything.
I'm going to go with SpongeBob,
personally,
because I love that film too. I feel like it was a bit of a renaissance for that sort of thing at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it was perfect. Like, this was perfect. SpongeBob movie was perfect.
Yeah.
And again, that was not my first real exposure to SpongeBob. I was watching it, obviously, but like, it was always just like, oh, it's on.
Yeah.
Whenever. And they both, like, everything at the time felt like it was true to the property.
Yes, definitely.
What do you think, if you could compare it to something? Or, like, things at the time in general?
I'm trying to think what movies are out at that time.
So the Simpsons, the SpongeBob movie came in like 2005, so like that kind of like bracket. It doesn't have to be strictly 2007. Just like any other animated TV show that got a movie, like the South Park one or the SpongeBob one, or...
But South Park got a few, they got 2, didn't it?
I know they got bigger, longer and uncut.
And I suppose the specials now count as well.
Yeah, I suppose.
Which are S tier, in my opinion.
I do like the COVID special.
South Park.
Yeah, that is really funny.
Let me think, actually. Well, Bob's Burgers just came out, the movie of that, and my girlfriend really likes Bob's Burgers, and then she tried watching it the other day, and I'm not a big fan, not gonna lie to you, I'm not a fan of Bob's Burgers, really, but even she turned around and was like, this is just mediocre, to say the least.
That's interesting, because I know that like a lot of fans liked it.
She actually called it a kind of Simpsons rip-off, in the movie, anyway.
Really?
She said this feels like a Simpsons plot a bit.
I'm not gonna lie, I looked at this is really stupid to say, but like I looked at the animation of the, I've seen clips of the movie, and I thought, it reminded me a lot of the Simpsons movies. I thought, I don't know what it is, I can't put my finger on it, but it just looked like the Simpsons movie in a different show, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I get that. Is there anything else you guys want to cover, or do you think that we've, I think, for our 3rd episode, we've hit pretty much every mark, to be honest with you, and I'm pretty happy with what we've done. Fabian, again, as the resident Simpsons file, is there anything else lurking around in your head that you want to talk about?
I've got one more question I wanted to ask you.
Fire it away. Go
right,
for it.
okay. So a lot of people say The Simpsons should end. It's gone on too long. They say there's a few perfect episodes that would cut the series off, and I think a lot of people, like you mentioned, Josh earlier, would say that the movie is probably a good send-off to these characters. If you two had the power over The Simpsons, how would you both end it? Would you have ended it with the show, with the movie? Would you have ended it with a certain episode? Would you make a new episode? Or what would you like to see in the ending of The Simpsons?
Right, go on, Frank, because again, you're more educated on The Simpsons than me.
Okay, they've done something similar to this, but I'd like, say, a 45-minute episode. So it's not quite an episode, it's not quite a movie.
Yeah.
But everybody finally grows up.
Yeah.
Like they're finally aging, they're getting on with their lives.
Yeah.
Not so much like they're all about to die.
Yeah.
But, say Bart and Lisa go to middle school.
Yeah.
And Homer finally gets the nice promotion he always
Oh,
wanted.
it's kind of like they're moving on.
Yeah.
As if like they've been in a rut and now we're just moving on.
You know, I was going to say something similar, actually. I was going to say something along the lines of, you get to see the characters, maybe not get older, but you get to see their bookend. Like, you can be satisfied knowing, okay, I'm going to put these characters to bed, and if they do exist out there, they are happy carrying on with their lives. I don't have to see it, I'm happy knowing that it's happening, though.
I remember when they hit the 600th episode, I remember it being new on TV, and I remember sitting there watching, and I thought, oh my god, I think this is the last episode, because the whole... It's kind of playing off the movie, funny, the whole town has had enough of their shit, basically. And even Sideshow Bob, they're in like the town hall, even Sideshow Bob goes like, well, I think you know how I feel about them, I think we should fucking get them out of it. So then they're like, right, let's fucking kick, and they kick them out, and the Simpsons live on their own in like this new town, and they're like basically homeless and stuff. And then in the end, the town will go, oh, we kind of love them actually, and they bring them back, and it's a 600th episode. I thought that's a big, nice, massive round number, and I thought they would have ended it, and then they didn't. But a while ago, one of the writers went on Twitter, this is a few years ago now, and he said, like, I don't know how it's going to end, I really don't, but he said, what I would like to see, and I really like this as well, is that, and you know what, going off, I'll say what you said, I'll see what he said. He said that what I'd like to see is the repeat of the first ever proper episode, you know, when Homer and Marge are sitting down in the play, during the Christmas play in the school, and he said like that would be the last episode. It's just one big loop, and they're always going to continue on. But I would like it if maybe Homer and Marge are sitting in the audience with Bart and Lisa, and they're older, and maybe they're watching Bart and Lisa's kids or something.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I
think that would be sweet, and I think that'd go like, right, that's the end, you know, and it's just going to carry on with new people. I that's what I would like to see anyway.
And then you get a Spider Pig spin-off.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the Spider Pig movie. Well, the Spider Pig trilogy, Spider Pig No Way Home.
I was about to say the exact same thing. Oh well, look at you stealing my jokes there. But I'd say in conclusion though, I absolutely love this movie, and
me too.
I'm coming to love The Simpsons. To be honest with you. And I can see so many other people do it. It's brought everyone so much joy, and emotion,
definitely,
and
even sense of humour.
Yeah, I'd
say I got all of my sense of humour with The Simpsons, 100%.
Yeah, and that's fantastic though. Do you know what I mean? It's fantastic that can help you build your character. To me, Doctor Who is my Simpsons. That is my thing that I know every line of. I know every second of it. I've watched everything. And it makes me who I am, and The Simpsons has done that for you. And it's fantastic that a piece of media can mould you in that direction. You know, it's a good thing. And
I think that's what this... You know, that's why we do this podcast, or why we're starting this podcast, is to show and the highlight stuff on how different media can affect you.
And again, though, it's good in a way that, you know, I'm not as educated on it, but I can see what it's done for you.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to put my foot in that pool.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it so you guys can listen to it. And,
exactly.
And the same with the things I like and the things that Frank may like. And that's fantastic, you know.
Do you have your own Simpsons, Frank? Would you say there's anything out there that is that kind of thing for you, like us?
For me, it's a couple of anime series, but we won't dive into that today.
Oh yeah,
well,
okay.
You know, Naruto,
well, moving swiftly on.
Naruto is quite long, to be fair. So maybe in 5 years, after we've finished watching it in 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, Naruto was it 770 episodes, and The Simpsons is coming up to that now.
Yeah, so we're coming after you.
I'm going to start sweating. You know what? Doctor Who's got 800 episodes as well.
Oh, Christ.
You know what? We're going to be here for a while, guys.
Well, I think that rounds everything off, to be honest.
Well, yeah, thank you guys again, to be honest. You've sat through this hour again, and to be honest, you know, out of all the other podcasts you could have listened to, you're listening to ours yet again.
Exactly.
So, thank you, and I feel like we're getting better and better.
Yeah.
So, thank you again, and that is us closing out.